Welcome to Kayfabe Crimes, the podcast where wrestling is not an alibi. I'm Kim.
And I'm Aaron, and together we investigate the crimes committed by wrestlers and have a look into see what sentencing they would get if they would happened in the UK. Today's crime is a bit of a traumatising one, so I want to preface this. I've put a bit of social media out earlier on showing Kim's reaction, and she was extremely traumatised by it. There will be some animal cruelty coming up, giving you a little clue. So if that's not your jam, totally understand. Probably a good idea to abandon this episode now and come back for the next one.
It's not my jam either, by the way.
Yeah, but you've got to do this. They get a choice, you don't. If you haven't already guessed, it is the death of Jake the Snake, Damian, when Earthquake squished him a couple of times with his big fat ass, basically.
It was so sad.
So a bit of the preamble for it. For years, Jake the Snake has been using Damian. He's been bringing him into the ring, scaring people with him. If he'd won a match or knock somebody out, he'd dump Damian on top of him out of his little green bag, terrifying people, scaring them out of the ring with him and everything. Before the match, so there was going to be a match between Earthquake and Jake the Snake. Before the match, Earthquake attacks Jake, but Jake kind of gets the better of him, and then he goes into his corner, pulls Damian out of his bag and scares Earthquake and Jimmy Hart out of the ring, and they fuck off. They were almost out of the arena, out of the area. So when another referee came out from the back and was like, "Nope, you've got to go and there's a fight. You've got to go and finish this fight. Go and get in that ring." And you could see them arguing with the referee about no, if that snake's in the ring, we're not getting back in that ring. And basically, they convinced the referee to convince Jake the Snake to put Damian back in his bag and then get him out the ring and then put him under the ring. As Jake's bending over, putting him in under the ring, Earthquake comes behind him and attacks him. He then throws Jake the Snake back in the ring, goes under the ring, gets the green bag, throws that in the ring, and then once he goes in, he wants to get back in the ring. Earthquake ties Jake the Snake up in the ropes, and while that's going on, Jimmy Hart attacks. I think it's Earl Hebner at the time. I'm really bad with referee names from that age. I was only about 9 at the time, to give me a chance. But he was attacking one of the referees, Jimmy the Snake. I was about to say Jimmy Hart, and then Earthquake starts bouncing around this snake, because that's what he used to do before he'd do his finish. He'd bounce around the person, and then he'd bounce off the ropes. And he did that as well. And then the feed we were watching cuts out, and just as he jumps up, cuts out, and you don't actually see the snake being squished. And then he gets up, and the feed goes back again, and he bounces around him again, and he does it again. He bounces off the ropes, and then jumps up and squishes him again. And then just as he does it again, the feed cuts off again. I want to know, like I said, I was about 8, 9 at the time when it was kicking off. Did that actually happen at the time, or was it just the feed we were watching? It was kind of like a rewatch of it type thing. Did they get rid of it because of that? The whole time this is going on while Earthquake is bouncing around the ring, and that's Jake is screaming and crying in absolute horror. He is fucking heartbroken that this is going on.
Well, it's his baby.
It's baby Snake, yeah. Eventually, the refs get into the ring and they untie Jake, and Earthquake and Jimmy Hart fuck off. They run away again. This bit you didn't get to see, but after that, I think you just gave up after this. When we watched it, I only found out about this last bit. Jake undoes the bag, and he's so he starts undoing it with his teeth and everything, ripping out the bag, and he looks in it and he just falls to the floor, broken hearted. It's clear, obviously Damian's been killed at this point. But yeah, that is the crime. I'm really sorry. We did have a good time watching. Well, I had a good time watching it, I'll be honest.
Because my trauma is entertainment, apparently.
Entertain the masses with your trauma. But yeah, that's the crime we're going to investigate today and have a look into things. When looking into research into this, there's not actually a crime for murdering a pet or an animal. It all falls under animal cruelty.
I think we should just go for murder.
if you want to just go for murder, we can possibly have a discuss about that when we get up to it. My thoughts are on if we should sentence Jimmy Hart first, because that's a nice, simple, easy one. He assaulted somebody, get him done, move him out the way, and then we can go on to Earthquake, get into the nitty-gritty, decide if we want to go for actual murder or not, or whether we just want to stick to animal cruelty, because there's a couple of add-ons to animal cruelty that I want to discuss later on, which you've not had a chance to have a look at yet.
No, I go in blind.
Yes. So first, what type of assault do you think Jimmy Hart did? It was basically he jumped on him, punched him a few times and stuff like that.
That's just common assault.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, just common
Simple common assault.
Simple common assault. So we're going to break down common assaults. For you, it's slightly different this time. I think they've updated the rules again for us to make it actually less. You do get less jail time now for a common assault, which I don't think is a good thing. But we'll go through it and we'll have a look at things. We'll first discuss the culpability of the crime, so which means how much did you do this crime? How much are you to blame this crime? Were you coerced? Did you plan it? And that type of thing. Then we will discuss the harm. So how much harm did you cause with this crime? It could be obviously physical harm, mental harm, or in the case of like theft or that type of thing, it can be how much harm have you caused, monetary, that type of thing.
Now I will go through what is higher and lesser culpability. So higher culpability is the intention to cause fear of serious harm, including disease transmission. The victim is obviously vulnerable due to age, personal characteristics or circumstances. It was a prolonged or persistent assault. There's a use of substantial force. There's strangulation, suffocation or asphyxiation. Threatened or actual use of a weapon or weapon equivalent, and or a leading role in group activity. And then lesser culpability is the lesser role in group activity. The offender has a mental disorder or learning disability. It's excessive self-defense and anything else that isn't high.
So just because we're only looking at Jimmy Hart assault on the referee, I don't feel like anything he did there falls into a higher culpability for it.
I mean, you could argue that refs are vulnerable.
You could. We have argued that before with refs and security guards, etc. So yeah.
I mean, refs, when they get hit, they're down for a long ass time.
As Bryce says, they're fragile.
So, I mean, I think they're vulnerable.
Yeah. No, I actually 100% agree with that. I forgot we've done that before. So yeah, I think we've flopped that into higher culpability for him there. Plus, he's involved in attacking the pet, so we'll get as much as we can.
So the harm, I will go through this as well, so that you can have a little bit more of a break.
Yeah, cool.
Category 1 is more than minor physical or psychological harm. 2 is minor physical or psychological harm. And 3 is no or very low level of harm.
Well, if we're going to argue that referees are fragile, and also he's pissed you off because he's part of Attack of the Snake, I'm assuming you're going to give a category 1.
I mean, I don't think I can go for category 1. I mean, I want to.
You want to?
I want to, but I have to go for 2 because it was minor.
Yep.
But it wasn't more. It wasn't
more
severe.
Than. Yeah,
it wasn't,
more than minor. At that important word there, more. It wasn't more than minor. So, okay, I was happy to agree with you too, but I just thought I'd see if you wanted to push it because Damian needs to be defended.
Damian needs to be defended.
But we're gonna go for A and 2 then.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have a look.
Because I'm being a good lawyer.
Not for Damian,
We're going to get to Damian. Damian is gonna be fine.
So for culpability A and harm 2, the starting order is a community order, or the category range, which is how far we can go, how low and how high we can go with sentencing, is a community order up to 16 weeks custody. Is this where Damian gets his revenge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be 16 weeks custody.
He's getting 16 weeks custody.
16 weeks custody it is then.
Because if he hadn't knocked out the ref, then maybe Damian would still be alive.
Yeah, 100%. So Jimmy Hart is getting 16 weeks custody.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to stay on common assaults because Earthquake obviously assaults Jake the Snake first.
True.
Before we can get to the animal cruelty and the animal killing.
True.
Do you think it's a common assault, or do you think he went higher than that? It was a few punches, a few kicks, and he tied them up in the ropes. And he did attack him while he was in the ropes as well a few times.
Well, I think it will be common assault again because it doesn't get higher than that until someone is like actually harmed. There's blood or something at least.
Jake the Snake's a tough guy as well. What I think happened to him when he got untied from the ropes, he was ready to kick some ass.
That's adrenaline. That is pure adrenaline. He could have been dying, but his snake had been crushed. Yeah. That was adrenaline.
I think it falls into higher culpability again.
Yeah.
If what Jimmy Hart did to the referee counts as higher culpability, this definitely counts as higher culpability.
Because it was prolonged and there was the intention to cause fear.
Yes.
I mean, I know it says of serious harm, but like the intention to cause fear of serious harm to his baby. So
yes. No, I already agree with you. Higher culpability for higher culpability for the culpability. Yeah. For harm, I think it's definitely more than minor. He was beaten up quite a bit. They were able to get him into the ropes.
It was more than minor psychological harm
as well. Yes, it definitely. So we're going to go for A and 1.
A and 1.
A and 1 for Earthquake for assault, which gives him the higher, either starting point of a higher level community order, or the category range of the community order to a 26 weeks custody. You just get 26 weeks of custard being pulled all over him.
No custard for you.
I don't feel like I don't even have to ask you. It's going to be the highest one, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Because of that poor snake. Poor snake.
So yeah, we're going to go straight for 26 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, so Jake the Snake, not Jake the Snake.
No, Jake the Snake is fine.
Jake the Snake's innocent for once.
I do think that how he treated the snake, from everything that you've said, is iffy.
Well, from when I was doing the research into this, there was apparently a kind of like they have in the movies where they like people go in and make sure the animal welfare has been checked for and everything. They had a person that come in and do that for Damian as well. So yes, something might have been not been great, but he was definitely being checked on when he was doing.
Well, where the fuck were they on this day?
Take wanted to take the bullet and die from get squished instead.
Fuck were they then?
But yes, 26 weeks for Earthquake for the assault on Jake the Snake Roberts. And here comes nitty gritty bit. Like I said before, unfortunately there was no actual sentencing guidelines for just outright killing an animal. The only ones that kind of fit were animal cruelty. So we'll go through the culpability and harm for that on the snake, on Damian, and we'll discuss our sentencing and see where we go from there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I will go for the higher culpability. A prolonged and or repeated incidents of serious cruelty, sadistic behaviour. So I need to carry on.
Can we just stop there? Because it was very fucking sadistic.
For the audience who might not have a chance to read this, I'll go carry on, but I don't think I'm going to get you anything over there anyway. Use a very significant force, yes, definitely.
He's not a small guy.
Leading role in illegal activity, involvement of others through coercion, intimidation, or exploitation. I'm surprised I said that one fine. Category B offence may be elevated to a Category A offence by the extreme nature of one or more medium culpability factors and the extreme impact caused by a combination of medium culpability factors. So do you want to go through those factors? Culpability B.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what factors? No, medium culpability. So, medium is deliberate attempt to cause suffering. It's a prolonged and or repeated incidents of cruelty or neglect. There's a use of significant force. Ill treatment in a commercial context. Deliberate disregard for the welfare of the animal, including by failure to seek treatment. And anything else between A or C.
Lower culpability is well-intentioned but incompetent care, momentary or brief lapse in judgment. It was definitely neither of them. Neither did that on purpose. It was not a lapse of judgment. Involved through coercion, intimidation, or exploitation. No, you can maybe argue Jimmy Hart, but I don't think he was. Mental disorder or learned disability were linked to the commission of the offence. I think it definitely falls in A. It's sadistic behaviour with repeated instances of being jumped on, use of significant force. I think there's anybody in the world that could argue, even if you hated snakes, completely despised them, I think you'd have to go for a higher culpability.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd say that Jake the Snake would be lower culpability in his general list, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, he's gone through too much, Jake. Let's not give him to time in jail for this as well. He like proper like broke his heart if you watched it.
Oh, I don't think I can watch that. I'll be okay.
So we're going to have a next level look at harm, and there's one straight away that I think probably knocks everything else on the head, but we're going to go through them all again anyway. So category 1 for harm is death.
Yep.
I don't think it definitely died because I don't think you know this, but a week later or so, Earthquake comes out trying to serve burgers, shall we say.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he tries because at the time Vince McMahon was a commentator. That's what you could hear on the thingy, and I think he was trying to do an interview with somebody, and Earthquake comes out with like snake burgers.
Oh my god!
So he's definitely dead. Damian is unfortunately definitely dead. He does have a brother that comes in and defends his honour. Jake brings a second snake, an even bigger fucking snake, and defends his honour. So, but yeah, Damian is definitely dead. So I think we've got to go for category 1. But for completion's sake, we'll go for all the other ones. For category 1 is grave or life-threatening injury, or a very high level of pain or suffering.
In category 2, offence results in an injury or condition which has substantial and or long-lasting effects.
Mm-hmm.
Substantial level of pain and or suffering caused to animals.
Yep. And category 3 is little or no physical developmental harm or distress and all other levels of pain and or suffering. It's definitely category 1.
Straight up.
Yeah, he squished it, dead.
Twice. I've seen the picture.
Are we going to charge him twice because he killed it twice?
Yeah.
Okay, so for category 1 for harm and A for culpability, this is the bit you're not going to like.
Is that really it?
That is
like.
Well, yes and no. So let's tell everybody else what you can see before we carry on. So the starting point for high culpability A and category 1 is a 2 years custody with a range of 26 weeks to 3 years 6 months. And obviously that's not enough. That is not enough for killing an animal of somebody else, especially with it being a pet. Obviously, it's not great doing a wild animal, but it's a wild animal. There's no other person's love in there. When it's a pet, I think definitely should be more than 3 years, 6 months maximum. So if you go to this last tab I'd got up for research, so in 2021, the government thought that the sentencing guidelines weren't tough enough.
Agree.
They have since updated them in 2021, which was after the one we were looking at was updated, but for whatever reason, the Sentencing Council has not updated that section of the website. But the new maximum penalty which they can for causing harm to animals is 5 years, unlimited amount of fines, and they can be banned from ever owning animals.
That one.
Just that one.
All of them.
All of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above. So, obviously, I'm assuming you're going to go straight for 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, banned them having animals because clearly they don't care. What fine?
All of his money.
All of his money ever. Every single wage he ever makes.
Well, he at the very least has to pay for Jake the Snake's therapy.
Yes, 100%. Whatever kind of Jake, and in America, therapy is not going to be cheap. I also think he should make some sort of donation monthly, $1,000 or something stupid like that, towards a snake charity of some sort.
Yeah.
Something like that, so that they can help, look after snakes and not squish them.
Yep. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So we're going to go for 5 years of jail time. Never allowed to have a pet or an animal again. Whatever Jake the Snake's therapy costs are going to be, which is going to be stupidly high.
He's probably still in therapy right now.
Yeah. And £1,000 to a snake charity of Jake the Snake's choice every month.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh, okay.
I mean, I still think it should be like life in prison, but if this is all we can give him,
This is all we can give him at the moment.
then fine.
Yes. Okay. So obviously I know it's not a happy ending for you. I know you wanted more than that. But was it good doing something that wasn't AEW?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, if you were like roughly 9, I was like 3 or something. So I have no.
Yeah, you have very limited knowledge
this.
of WWE, which I think is kind of a good thing for this because you come in from a fresh perspective. Whereas somebody like myself who has watched a WWE throughout the years will come in with already preconceived notions of certain things.
Yeah.
On most of the modern one, like the older stuff, I can barely remember. I was barely old enough, but like. It's good. I think it's good to do something that's different as well. Get it out there. We'd love to do something with an independent company. So if you know anybody that would like to get involved, and come on, bring their promotion on, advertise their promotion, discuss some of the crimes committed in their promotion, please let them know, send them our way, or tell us in the comments about them. Just say we think we should get. Because I'm going to go and try and talk to the guys who are on Infamous when I go next week and see if they'll come on. But if you know somebody else, leave a comment down below saying go and bring this company on. It'll be quite cool to do that, I think, because they will want to help highlight other people, and two, it'll be really interesting to see like a promoter side of for the crimes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
why did you allow this?
Yeah, why? Well, we should be arresting you. And also, if we do a UK independent, the actual laws match because we're in the UK.
Yeah, that too.
But I think that's all I've got to say. Anything else you got to say?
I just want to show these earrings. I don't know if they'll be available by this time.
I can put them on Etsy, so by the time they come out, they're up.
These are my new favourites. You can't see them properly, and you'll be able to see them even less.
Take them out of here.
That's good.
Show it up to the camera. Yes, so the blood drop pearl earrings.
There's some barbed wire in there. Yeah. They're my new favourites.
They'll be on Etsy by the time this goes live. So if you want a sec, go and have a look. Buy some stuff from me. There is a link down below that gets you. I think it was 15% off. I've set it as. You get a discount. So use that link. Buy yourself some goodies.
Yep. And yeah, that's all I had to say. I needed to end it on something good.
Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe to us, give us a like, share the podcast, help us spread out, get us all out there a bit more. But yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.